Section 1.2, number 2C. Now, in the previous example, for the question number 1, what we did was we were given the drawings or the bundled objects. We were supposed to give the numbers which are represented by the drawing, the bundled objects. But the second question is the other way. So we are given a decimal number, and we're supposed to use bundled objects to represent the number. So we need to know both ways. So here I give you a similar example. So describe and draw rough pictures to represent a given decimal. And for example, 1.234. So you're supposed to do part C, 1.28. And I actually have 3 decimal places, but your example has 2. So it should be a little easier. So in terms of bundled objects, so you could use toothpicks, paper clips, cubes in a way that fits with and it shows the structure of the base 10 system. So in chapter 1, we keep most of the problems are related to the place values. All right, so you chose cubes, but you could use toothpicks. If you use toothpicks, they're gonna look like something like this. Cubes might be a little easier to draw, especially if you do it electronically. You can just copy the pictures here. Okay, so let's start with so when you use objects to represent these numbers for decimals, it's better to start from the smallest. The reason is if you start from the biggest, let's say, okay, 1 cube represents number 1. 1 cube represents number 1. And then how do we represent 0.1? Because you're supposed to, 0.1 is 1/10 of a 1, which means you have to cut this cube into 10 equal parts, and the little small one of them will be 0.1, but it's impossible to cut a cube. So that's why you don't want to do cutting. With the paper, you can do that. If you have a long piece of paper, that's 1. And if you want to get a 0.1, you could cut the paper into 10 equal parts. Okay, so this is 0.1. But with a real cube, it's impossible. Or with the toothpick, you don't really want to cut them into small, tiny pieces. Or with the paper clip, you cannot even cut it. So that's why we want you to, we have to start from the smallest place value, which in this case is, so that's the 10th, 100th, and the thousandths place. So we start from the smallest place value, thousandths, and make it represent whatever the object you're going to use to represent that. So my 1 cube here represents the 1,000ths, which is 0.001. Now, because they have a 4 in the thousandths place, we're going to have 4 cubes. So that's 0.01, that's 0.01. We have 4 of them. That is going altogether, these 4 will give us, 0.004. So now we got the thousandths place digit. Now we're going to work on 300ths. And remember that if 1 cube represents, so here 1 cube represents 1,000ths or 0.001. In order to get 100th, and this, again, let me put the place values here. So we will need, from the place value, we know that we need a 10 of the thousandths. 10 of these will make 10 hundredths. So we need to take 10 cubes. So each of these is going to be the same cube as what we have here. So we have 10 of these and stack them together. So that's going to be 100th. Each of them is going to be 100, which is 0.01. And this is also 0.01. This is also 0.01 because we need 300ths. So together you will get 0.03. Now let's do the next place, which is 2/10ths. So we have 2, 3, 4 here. So we need, again, in order to get the tenths, we need a 10 of the hundredths. So remember, adjacent place value is always multiplied by 10, multiplied by 10. So we need 10 of these. So when we put the 10 of the together, so you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 10. So when we put 10 of these cubes together, and that's going to be 1/10, which is 0.1. Because I have 2 of them together, that gives me 0.2. And finally, the ones place. So to the left of the decimal, that's ones. Again, we need a 10 of the tenths to make a 1. So we put a 10 of the yellow ones together. So you will have 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to the front, 10 of them. So that gives me 1. Now, when you look at all of these cubes together, the red one, the yellow ones, the blue ones, and the brown ones all together, that's exactly 1 point. So that's 1 here. Move it down. 1 plus 0.2 plus 0.03 for the blue ones, and for the brown ones altogether, that's exactly 1.234. See, that's the 2/10, 3/100ths, and 4 thousandths.